I always have my eyes on a lot of pros on Fortnite. Essentially what this video is going to be is high IQ plays that not a lot of people do on Fortnite that I see pros doing a lot more. There might be one or two kind of basic things in here, but I truly believe that a lot of these skills and things that I'm going to talk about in this video are simply just not used in day-to-day play on Fortnite. I have roughly around 15 clips that I'm going to show you whether they're fast, whether they're slow. So the hope is not only by watching these will you familiarize yourself with these moves, and if you haven't seen it in a while, you're going to re-trigger that muscle memory and hop into your next game and use it. Don't forget to use code KenBeans in the item shop. Check out the merch link down below to support, and let's hop into this. I was watching this video and I saw Clix box a player really nice. It's a 2v1 and this guy has the wall on Clix and Nick. What Clix did was he looked in the empty space to place a stair above that wall. That way he could break through the wall and the guy would be technically underneath the stair. The player would go in and he'd be full box. When I first saw this, I was really surprised because it's a really unique way to box a player when you're trying to full send in their face. Most of these clips are from Mr. Savage because I always learn stuff when I watch his gameplay. I've seen him do this move lots of times, but this is the one clip I found about it. Usually what people tend to do on Fortnite is edit open and do a 50-50. In this situation, if you have a stair kind of blocking you and there's a guy on the opposite side of the wall, what Savage does is edit the bottom right 4 tiles just like this and then goes for piece control, and now he's protected behind this little right hand peak. Personally, in my experience of playing Fortnite, I have never ever seen a player do an edit like this on me. That's why when I saw this, I had a double take because it's super useful and super optimal. This next play that tons of pros use works surprisingly more than you think. This is one of the most basic ones I'm going to talk about in this video, but it's a fake out play. Once he grabbed the wall, he scuffed the edit so he acts like he's running away. Turning your character's body completely away from the enemy sometimes makes him think that you're going to leave. This in turn lowers their guard a little bit, and then that way he turns around, does an edit, and even though it's like a 50-50, he doesn't expect it and he gets the kill. Savage is a literal king at doing this move. He does it all the time. I always tell people on Fortnite to make 2 boxes so that you could box fight a player outside that box. Being the aggressor, you see how Mr. Savage drops down on the wall? He knows that lots of players make more than 1 box just like this. To outplay the situation, you see how he doesn't drop down on the center of the wall? Once he takes the wall, does the edit, you see how he plays the angle so extreme to the point where the guy can't even shoot him back. It's really important to not just make the edit, but play the angle too. This is a general reminder that I see pros do all the time, and after they shoot someone, if they don't hit them hard and they know that they're still gonna aggress onto the box, lots of times what you see people do, just like Mr. Savage did right here, he shoots the player, and since the wall is weak with any gun after he resets, what he does is that he instantly tarps away after he makes the shot just in case the guy runs into his box. This gives him time to counter what he's doing and think about the right edit to make in the situation afterward. Not only that, he bought himself time to get some heals up. Go out of your way the next time you get on Fortnite, if you're not too good with it already, to learn how to tarp away after you shoot someone or even when you get cracked. In slow-mo, it looks like this. This is a very slept on play that I talked about in an old 100 tip video. What I see Mr. Savage do a ton in his arena fights, when he goes to drop down on a player's wall, usually what happens is that a lot of average people, including me honestly, will just drop down right on the center of the stair. This does work a ton for me, especially if I can keep the pressure up really nice at the start, but nonetheless, this move that I see Savage doing is something that I just kind of forgot about. You see how when he lands on the box, he edits the stair in half? He mistimed the floor, so he had to reset it up again. Here it is when he side jumps. He smacks the wall once and then instantly looks down to place the counter piece control before the other guy can. When he makes the edit, he's behind the right hand peak. The red mogul skin is literally looking clueless, trying to figure out what's going on. I've noticed that a tendency that Mr. Savage has is that he makes his opponents kind of sit there behind an open edit. It's because he's doing things so fast and just so differently that it kind of confuses people. That's why I want to show you guys videos just like this where you can use other pros' moves, so that way you might be able to do the same thing like he's doing. Not only for you guys, but for me as well, because I need to start doing that. Similar move, but in a different way. How many times have you tried to box a player, but they end up being on top of the stair? He half edits the stair in the spot that they're on, and then he can use that stair as a right hand peak to jump up and shoot them. He did it twice in the same play, and then this was the last guy, so he was trying to freestyle and do something crazy, so he didn't end up going for the final shot, but this is still a very viable option for you guys to do in your fight. This is how pros play arena, and this is probably how you should be doing it as well. What I noticed Savage does in literally every pro, they always try to hop into the box the first few couple seconds the fight starts to happen. Even without the health advantage in arena, I tell people to do this all the time because it wraps up fights super fast. But if you do struggle with learning how to jump in the boxes and ending fights quick, this is probably the best way to go about it. Constantly trying to jump into the box at the very start of the fight is super important because people don't know what to expect at the beginning of the fight. Usually how it works, if you miss the first time jumping into the box, then that player is going to be more defensive and it's going to be harder to jump in the second time. That's why pros who have mastered the jumping into box and just out aiming people get high kill games. That's all because they're really good at getting that first initial jump in on the box. The more you do this play style of constantly just thinking you're going to have better aim than the other person, the way better you're going to be able to get at the game, because eventually you're going to learn the mistakes about what went wrong when you tried to jump in the box. After doing that for a long time, time, you're gonna realize exactly what you need to fix so that you can do it over and over and over, and then you drop 20 bucks. Granted, the play didn't work here, but Savage knows exactly what he's doing. He's very good at making it seem like he's leaving that box. He jumps up off the cone, but swings down at a very steep angle to try and wall replace the wall. If you're an average player and this is done to you, the person inside the box might think, oh, he left, so they'll stop holding the wall. This is just high IQ when Mr. Savage is playing. A move like this could work even against a very sweaty player. It was a fail and he ends up killing the guy anyway, but this just goes to show that he does do this. This clip starts out, he pre-fires, he piece controls, he goes crazy, and the clip is looking real nice. Towards the end, this guy is on his wall kind of spraying with an SMG. He thought that after he reset the wall, there's only one wall in there that's not hit. So if he could try and claim the piece control to where he thinks the enemy is gonna go, then he'll wrap up the kill. But notice how he does it. He's on the cone, and to be honest, I never thought about using my walls like this. He jumps up over the cone to drag the walls over and down. That's a really unique way to get a wall on a guy, and I think that's pretty optimal, but the guy ends up spraying in his face. Nonetheless, still a really good move. Here's a little trick that you might have missed to grab the wall before the other player even thinks about it. What Savage does right here is as he's turning the corner, he's looking down at a really steep angle. The average player might not be doing this, but when you turn corners, you kind of want to flick the wall into position. I think I can say that this is a very unique tip to try and grab the wall first before them. Have you ever gotten third party from the front and the back? In Tilted Towers, Savage is directly in the center of the map. People have eyes on him from everywhere, but one thing he does that I've actually seen other pros do as well, if you're getting shot from two positions, instead of trying to spin around and place walls, what people will do is place a wall in front of them and then turbo build a stair and a wall at the same time, just constantly switching between the two builds. This blocks your front and your back, but you don't want to sit there and think that it's going to hold forever, obviously, because bullets bleed through in chapter 3 especially, but this is definitely a good way to stop a few bullets from hitting you. It just so happens that the second he tried to edit through the wall, the stair broke and he took a lot more damage than expected. This is a move that even against pros will work so well. He knows that there's a guy above the side jump that he's about to complete. What Savage is really good at doing is pickaxing walls before anything else, before any other builds are placed. He smacks the wall, then places a floor and a stair to exploit in on the second pickaxe. This is something that once I saw it, I thought, oh my god, I could do that myself, but I never thought about doing it because I've never seen someone do it. Now that I've familiarized myself with it, and so have you, you should definitely try implementing this into your own game, especially if there's a wood wall above that box. It's only 2 swings to hit and you'll jump right in before they even know what's happening to them. Here's a really good move that I bet a lot of people, if you were in Mr. Savage's position right now, but what lots of people, including myself, do sometimes. I'll edit a 50-50 and then place a cone and then just try and shoot the guy, pump him, and kill him. Mr. Savage attacks this edit by starting out the same way I would. Then instead of placing a cone, he ramps the guy off with a stair. This pushes the guy into the back of the box because usually that player is going to be holding the right hand peak, so it will always work. After that, he does an edit, but then backs up all the way to place a wall, and then he can go for a different peak shot. Personally, I think a better edit would be a top right hand corner edit because he did end up taking damage. But that initial play of staring people off, kind of like stiff arming them into the back of the box, it's definitely something that you should try and practice more often than just placing a cone and running in there with a 50-50. The pressure's on and Mr. Savage is in a box and a guy is pickaxing the only wall that he can escape from. Here's 2 things that he did super well, and one of those things that people tend to do is they rush it way too much. I've talked a ton about when a player pickaxes your wall, the second they get in front of their wall, you can edit the spot where you think they're going to swing, and then you can shoot them as they're swinging. What I've noticed is that pros, especially people like Mr. Savage, they don't just wait for the guy to be in front of the box. It's almost like they hear the sound of the player swinging their pickaxe, and then that's when they confirm the edit. The timing is impeccable. That was the first one. The second thing is that after he shoots the guy, what I really like is that he shoots him and then pre-fires a stair first to block the guy off, kind of stiff arm him back in the box if he just so happened to be there. And then he placed the wall on top of that to try and mongrel classic the whole thing and kill the guy quick. So when a guy comes up on your wall, try to time it and listen for the pickaxe swing and then make the edit. Then afterwards, if there's nothing in front of them, try and turbo build a stair and a wall. In Fortnite especially, pros are doing this a lot more in their fights, turbo building 2 pieces instead of just 1. Here's a quick move that lots of people probably know if you're really advanced. If you've been playing this game for a long time, chances are you might know this. What people tend to do on Fortnite nowadays, especially pros when you're fighting them one-on-one, they look to get tons of angles on you, but one thing you see is that as the player on high ground, Mr. Savage looks for opportunities to place walls 1 box below him. Then he lands on a flat and then he tries to read where the guy is going, but if it just so happens that he's still in front of that box, he'll drop down and make a quick edit. What you should do when you're practicing your fights is get used to the building grid by trying to place walls 1 box below you. This is a great way to establish piece control, and sometimes if they're building out of the same material that you place the wall out of, they won't even realize that the wall is not there. So if we're both build fighting out of brick and I turbo build a floor below me, chances are the guy might not realize it until it's too late. These are some of the moves on Fortnite to definitely keep you up with the chapter 3 meta. Learning unique ways to build, edit, and piece control people. It's going to be one of the fastest ways you can improve at the game, but it all starts with familiarizing yourself with just watching the video. That's my goal in every single YouTube video I post, is to help you guys get better in some way, shape, or form. So drop a sub, drop a like if this helped you out. Shout out to my man iClark for using my code in the shop. I'm going to try and shout out one person with a screenshot every single time in a video, because I'm trying to show my appreciation for the people that use my code. I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces. Peace.